Logic block types. When and how to use them. When building applications on the Nextworld platform, developers can select from several types of logic blocks, each tailored for a distinct purpose. Understanding when and how to use each type of logic block is key to selecting the right one for your application needs. In this video, we'll explore each logic block type, beginning with transaction logic blocks. In Nextworld, transaction logic blocks are workhorses. They are used more than any other type. In fact, about 75% of all logic blocks are the transaction type. They are great for quickly and accurately fetching data, updating records, and running calculations. Plus, they have the most logic block actions available and can call other transactional UI and background logic blocks. Transaction logic blocks run in real time, so any processing they do is immediately available to a user. Use a transaction logic block type when users are dependent on the results. A sales representative is speaking with a customer while entering their order in the sales order application. The representative needs to share the total sell price with the customer. As each item number is entered, a transaction logic block fetches the sell price from the product table, enters it into the sell price field, calculates the total sell price for the item based on quantity ordered, and enters the result into the total amount field. The logic block updates the sales total field as each item's total amount is calculated. A project manager needs an instant calculation of current stock levels for all product components to determine a feasible project timeline. When the user enters the product number into the project management application, the logic block uses that product number to fetch the stock level from the inventory table and sets it in the project management application. UI logic blocks are all about shaping the user experience. They can hide or disable fields or default values for you. These changes are not saved until the user selects Save. A user is adding a new customer to the directory application. After entering the standard customer details, they encounter a checkbox asking if the customer has multiple locations. When the user selects the field, the logic block displays the additional address fields that were hidden from the user. Business rules might state that all product prices are set and cannot be changed. To enforce this, the developer uses a UI logic block to disable the product sell price, total sell price, and sales total fields, allowing the user to view and share pricing with the customer, but preventing any modifications. Validation logic blocks are the quality control step for your data. Before anything gets saved, they check it against your business rules to make sure everything is complete and accurate. If data is missing or doesn't meet the requirements, the save will fail, ensuring the database only has valid data. Business rules state that when a user selects travel as the expense type, they must also enter a destination city. To enforce this, the developer included a validation logic block that prevents the user from saving the form and displays an error message if travel is selected, but a destination city has not been entered. A user is entering an order into the sales order application. Business rules state that any discount given cannot exceed 10% off the original, non-discounted total. To enforce this, a validation logic block compares the values, and if the discount exceeds 10% of the total, the system displays an error message, and the record cannot be saved. Background logic blocks handle tasks that don't need to be done right away. They can perform many of the same actions as transaction logic blocks, but instead of running immediately, the work is queued to be completed later. Use them when the user isn't waiting on the results, or the task might take a long time to finish. The changes made by background logic blocks save as soon as the logic finishes executing. When a user updates the stock level of a part in the inventory management application, the system needs to send a new order to the vendor's platform when stock drops below a set level. Since this update is not required for the user to continue working, the developer has configured a background logic block to handle it. Once the user selects Save, the background logic will run on the side and send the updated stock levels to the vendor. A user creates a new customer record in the directory application and enters the customer's location. Once the record is saved, a background logic block runs and automatically assigns a regional sales representative based on the customer's location. Test logic blocks are a developer's tool for testing other logic blocks. They're used to check the functionality of another logic block. Test logic blocks prepare data and then calls the logic block to be tested before validating that the target performed as expected. For example, the logic block being tested threw an error at the right time, or it saved a record correctly. Data transform logic blocks are used by Nextworld as part of an official data transform provided to update customer tables for a new feature. They directly modify how data is stored in the database, which can have permanent effects. Using them outside of an official solution risks data integrity and should be avoided. Logic block type review. Transaction logic blocks are the most commonly used and modifies data by creating, updating, or deleting records. UI logic blocks manage the look and usability of an application. Background logic blocks perform many of the same actions as transaction, however they are used when the user is not dependent on the results or the task is expected to take a long time to complete. Validation logic blocks confirm that data meets set business rules or requirements. Test logic blocks, the developer's tool for testing other logic blocks. Data transform logic blocks, used by Nextworld as part of an official data transform. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. To learn more about this topic, please refer to Nextworld Help.